Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of November 1st, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here and happy November to everybody out there. I hope you had an amazing Halloween. So this week starts off with Mercury changing signs. Now, if you think back to what's been happening over the last 2 months, we've had Mercury really moving through an extended visit through the sign of Libra. So we had Mercury talking about relationships, right? Mercury represents the media, represents how we are thinking, the process of thinking, but also what we're talking about as a collective as well, and the thoughts that tend to take priority. So with Mercury moving through Libra, that's an energy that can be a little indecisive, right? It's about considering lots of different perspectives. It has to do with diplomacy as well. Also has to do with relationships and love. So we've had that consideration taking place, and now Mercury officially moves into the sign of Scorpio, helping us to shift what it is that we're talking about, whether represented through the media or individually, or how we're perceiving things. Now, what's really interesting to me is as Mercury moves into the sign of Scorpio and progresses through the week, will speak in supreme harmony with Neptune as well. So there are a few ways to look at this and a few ways to understand this. Now, on the one hand, Scorpio has to do with secrets, and it has to do with like detective work. So when I see this, it suggests to me that there's a very likely possibility that as Mercury is moving through the sign of Scorpio, we should see the release of some long-term investigative reporting that has been taking place. So what ultimately has been secret, or what, maybe there's been some power stuff happening to really keep the lid on certain things, now will be the time when we start talking about it a little bit more openly, a little bit more publicly as well. But I also think this also has to do with just the business of secrets as well, right? So this could also be investigations into how secrets are kept, how it is that we find out other people's secrets as well. So again, this has to do with stuff coming up in awareness that generally people might not want out there. But also with this, I think of Scorpio energy as the alchemical process. It's about turning lead into gold, right? As a philosophical assertion, as a spiritual process even as well. And it has to do with rebirth, right? It has to do with the life, death, rebirth cycle. And it has to do with the phoenix rising from the ashes. The sign of Scorpio has a whole lot of myths and especially symbols associated with that sign. So the fact that we are going to have Mercury moving into Scorpio and then this supremely harmonious conversation with Neptune, I think we will see one of those like great transformation stories, like someone who is down and out now having this, big moment, a comeback moment, if you will, and especially related to the entertainment industry, especially related to film or modeling. So very likely we'll see somebody this week, right? And there will be a little bit of spin around it. There will be a little bit of illusion or glamour around it as well. It may not necessarily be all that there is, but I think we will have a moment, at least this week, when someone who we sort of thought of, oh yeah, that person was really big in the 80s or in the 90s and we kind of forgot about that person, very likely to come back into our collective awareness and to help us all go, oh wow, change is possible, right? A new chance, a new beginning is possible. And so this really big kind of comeback story of an actor or somebody associated with modeling as well, very likely to take place this week. So that should be fun to watch. For us, individually in our own lives, very likely we'll be thinking about the deeper meaning of things. We'll be thinking about how it is that we can transform situations in our own lives, and we'll be talking about that with the people around us. And Neptune is hope, after all, right? Neptune is belief and believing in miracles. So there will be that assertion. A lot of us are going to be believing that miraculous turnarounds are possible, and as a result, very likely we'll experience those, whether in our own life or witness those in the lives of the people around us as well. Also this week, what I love that's taking place this week is Venus will meet Mars. So this is super passionate, okay? And this is happening as we move into the week, but really, if you think about Halloween night, okay? We're slowly building towards this energy Halloween night. So I do think that this is actually energy we're carrying in from the weekend. And as we start this weekend, we'll feel this energy building. So if you are one of those people, as you're watching this, and if you're watching this on Sunday, for example, and Halloween, you connected with somebody and you felt the energy, you felt the passion, chances are that that energy is feeling all the more palatable right about now, right? You're feeling it growing, you're thinking about it, you're remembering. And also this just has to do with being passionate about just about anything, whatever you're passionate about, whatever motivates you, whatever excites you. Now, this particular energy is taking place in the sign of Virgo, right? So we have Mars meeting Venus in the sign of Virgo. And this to me does suggest that there's also a passion involved in work, right? Like the work that you're doing. What is it that you're dedicating yourself to? What is it that you're giving your energy to? What is it that is inspiring you, is motivating you to carry on and to really fall in love with the work that you're doing? Work that has love in it has an energy of growth, of abundance, of care. There's something very pure when work has that energy of love to it. And that's something that I think a lot of us are going to be considering now. What we also have happening this week is the sun will be speaking in harmony with Pluto. Now, this is a very strong energy, but it's one that we have to tap into a little bit consciously. That's the thing. This type of harmonious conversation is what astrologers call a sextile. And so it has to do with the awareness that we can make things go our way, that we can harness ability, that we can develop talent if we are willing, and if we're willing to take those steps, and if we're willing to make those moves to make that happen for ourselves. So it does mean that, again, this idea of transformation, this idea of change, we're going to be very aware that if there's anything that you truly desire to change, it's about getting right to the root cause of it. And whatever it is that you truly desire to change can be, but there is also going to be this awareness of what it actually requires and a level of self-honesty as well, if we're actually willing to do that work. I like to say that anything worth having is worth working for. And I also really think that a lot of times it's not about having that thing, right? No matter how big it is, or no matter how big we think it is, whether it's a dream or it's just, something more immediate, right? Like a physical object. Sometimes it isn't about having the thing. It isn't about attaining the thing. It's about who you become in the process. And that's why I like to say whatever is worth having is worth working for. So whether that's a personal attribute, whether that's, again, a physical object, okay? A lot of times it really is the process and who we become in the process that really was the true intention, whether it was on a soul level, or you want to think of it on a higher level. That's always the true intention behind what it is that we're doing. So this is going to allow us to get a little bit of that glimpse. It isn't always just about you wanting something just to want it. But a lot of times we want something, we don't always know, all the dots aren't connected why. We may be aware, if you're very intellectually inclined or philosophically inclined, you might think about all the psychological processes, if you will, that get you to want whatever it is that you want. However, at the same time, sometimes I think that we want what we want, and it's really about a soul urge. It's about a higher calling trying to step in and trying to help us, trying to guide us towards becoming who it is that we most desire to be on a very deep, sometimes and often unconscious level, sort of a higher version of ourselves trying to come forward. It's the red herring that ultimately is helping us to move in that positive direction. And I think this idea of this red herring, as I'm calling it, is further emphasized now. And that is because we are having a conversation taking place actually between Jupiter and Uranus. Now, this type of conversation is called a quincunx. And I don't often talk about this type of conversation because it's not one of the traditional types of conversations that planets will have. It's not what we call a Ptolemaic aspect in astrological circles. So it is a more modern type of conversation that we consider taking place between two planets. And it tends to suggest an element of surprise, an element of, in some very quick moments, having to make these two energies work together somehow, some way. So we've got Uranus right now moving through the sign of Aries, right, for this extended, really the better part of this decade. We're smack dab in the middle right now of this decade. decade. Uranus moving through Aries, defining much of this decade right now. And as we have Uranus moving through the sign of Aries, a lot of us are saying, you know, who am I? What do I really want to do? And just doing it, right? Doing it, taking responsibility, taking ownership for the life that we want, who it is that we desire to be, what it is that we desire to express, and making it happen for ourselves. I do remember speaking about this quite at length. If you look at the decade ahead videos, we're smack dab in the middle of this decade now. But I actually have some decade ahead horoscope videos on my YouTube channel that you might want to check out. And it's there that I talk about and focus with those videos more on Uranus moving into the different signs based on your sign. But Uranus moving through Aries speaks to us as a collective in the sense that, again, it's asking us to take ownership for who we most desire to be in the world. And the fact that Pluto was speaking in precision, but still in some way is dancing, that dance is sort of parting now more and more. But the fact that Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn at the same time does suggest to me that it has been about not waiting for permission, right? Knowing that whatever it is that you desire to do, you can find a way to make it happen for yourself without necessarily waiting for someone else to give you that green light. And so more of us are being more and more empowered, particularly through technology, to do what it is that we desire to do with our lives, to be what it is that we most believe ourselves to be the most authentic expression of ourselves in the world, and to trust our own creativity, to trust our most immediate instincts, to trust what it is fun for us, right? Trust what it is what you like to do when you were a kid, and find a way to share that in bigger and bigger ways. So that has been part of the lesson of Uranus moving through Aries. Now Jupiter is speaking with this Uranus in this type of conversation of surprise. Jupiter moving through the sign of Virgo, as you know, as I've spoken about in the Jupiter specials as well. So Jupiter moving through the sign of Virgo is very much about, you know, whereas Uranus and Aries is a sign of like immediacy, of passion, of just, you know, doing it even before you think it, right? It just kind of happens. You're just in the middle of it. People, for example, of Mercury in Aries, in the moment might find themselves saying all kinds of things where afterwards they have to go, okay, wait, maybe that needs to be fact checked, right? Just in the moment, in that passionate moment. So Uranus in Aries asks us to connect with that passion, share it in bigger ways, and be true to that passion. Jupiter in Virgo is different, right? Jupiter, yes, does bring healing energy, grows, bring hope, bring faith. But in Virgo, it says, you know, make sure that you're good at what you're doing and figure out what it is that you like doing, like sort of what it is that you've given your time to, what it is that you can consider yourself an expert in simply because you've been doing it for so long, and let that be the source of blessing for your life, wherever it is that Jupiter happens to be at this point. So as a collective, I think this conversation is going to speak more strongly for us than necessarily individually, but all of us in our own lives will be feeling this. This conversation says to me, okay, passion is one thing and that's awesome. Grab your moment and go for it, but at the same time know that there is a certain real optimism, a real hope, not just something you're telling yourself, but there's a real sense that bigger and brighter can be for you if you're willing to develop whatever it is, your talent, your skill, your expertise. If you're willing to really get good at whatever it is that you desire to do, that breakthroughs are possible for you. Now, when we see an aspect like this, I'll be really honest, okay? You know, I'm always honest with you guys out there. This can be an example of, and we might see this sort of a video going viral right about now, of that not being the case. So this to me is like a video going viral showing somebody who wants to make a big breakthrough, right? Believes that they have the talent and gives a very sincere effort, but maybe actually needs to do a little bit more work to develop that talent. And I think that that's something we actually see more and more now, this desire to take ownership for who it is we desire to be in the world, sometimes has us acting in an immediacy instead of understanding that there is a process towards not only cultivating talent, developing talent. Yes, a lot of people are born with it, and that's amazing. But I think a lot of the time we don't give enough energy to or enough credit to the fact that very often what we think people are born with, talent we think that they just possess, is actually something that has been nourished, has been nurtured, has been developed over a period of time, and sometimes a great long period of time at that. So I think that we should see some interesting videos out there right about now going viral of people who are presenting themselves as very sincere, and maybe do have like sort of the seeds of talent, but they're trying to jump many steps ahead instead of really developing that. That might be some representation of that might go viral right about now. But in our own lives as well, we are being asked to really, if you know that you've been giving the time, the energy to what it is that you do, to be confident in that, to be at peace with that, knowing that you have done the background work, knowing that you've established a certain level of self-respect that comes from knowing you've put in the time, right? And now knowing that, okay, you've done the work and you can put it to the side and just shine, just let whatever needs to come forward, do so, because you know that you have that track record, that knowledge is within you, the language is within you, the way to express is already within you, because you have actually paid the dues. That's what this conversation asks us to do. It says, okay, in a moment, demonstrate that you've paid the dues. And if you don't, the universe will respond in kind, will be honest with you. But if you have, then this could be a time of a tremendous breakthrough. Whether it's, again, collectively, we may see examples of this, but also personally as well in our own lives. Each of us in some way may have a breakthrough right about now at whatever it is that we have given our honest, heartfelt attention to. Well, thank you so much for watching this introduction to this week. I'm truly so grateful for it, so grateful that you're here. Love interacting with you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up as well. I really do appreciate it so much. So I am back from Mexico City, and I met so many friends and fans out there, amazing friends and fans out there. And sometimes people say, and messaged me and said, Nadiya, I really would love to meet you. I'd love to give you a hug. I am not going to be able to do a consult, but if I can just meet you, that would be awesome. And I've been like, yeah, sure, let's try to make that happen. And so actually I met a lot of people. I did meet, yes, I met people who were there for consultations. Thank you so much. But also just a lot of people who just wanted that moment, who wanted that hug. And it meant so much to me, like to just have that exchange of very pure, honest energy, that love energy. So thank you. Thank you to all of you who reached out, and I just appreciate it so much. It was so amazing. And it really was an amazing week for me in Mexico City. So thank you to friends and fans out there who were part of that experience for me. So I love interacting with you guys, as I said. Now, I have been saying to you, as we've been going along, that as far as the personalized horoscopes go, because I love your questions, sometimes you ask me questions that are a little bit more personal, having to do with your own unique situation. And if that's the case, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that. I can actually look at your unique birth chart and give you answers that are uniquely just for you, based on my interpretation. And we now have 3 new areas of focus. We have love and luck and money, career, and also life purpose. And you guys are really liking those. Lots of people have been ordering those. So as you may know, if you've been watching me regularly, lots of orders have been coming through lately. I'm truly so grateful for that. If you place your order now and before the 10th of November, then if you order based on the regular order. So there's a regular order that is 2 months, a rush order that's 2 weeks, and a deluxe order that is 2 days. So it is the regular orders that will be guaranteed if you want to pay that lower price. If you order before the 10th, those lower priced regular orders, I promise to have them delivered to you by New Year's Eve. And once we get to the 10th, the regular orders will pause for a little while, and the rush and deluxe orders will still be available as well. So it would be great, and also I know that it is such a privilege to look at your chart. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful to all of you who do trust me. As I have said to you before, there have been such a volume of orders, but now slowly starting to catch up. Really grateful for that and making it part of my routine to make sure that I get your videos to you by that Christmas Eve deadline if you've already placed your order. And again, if you place your order going forward from here, these first 10 days of November, you will get it by New Year's Eve. And thank you. But of course, you being here, you watching this in this moment really is everything. It is everything. I was reminded of that and the value and really about that sharing, right? Or that's really what it is all about. Just sharing in an honest way, in an open way. I was reminded of that this weekend at the Astrology conference that I attended in Mexico City in Nostrum. And it was so great to remember that, to affirm that, to know that in my own spirit, that ultimately that is really what it comes down to for me. And I have been making videos and I have been practicing astrology for a long time. I was doing this for free for a whole lot of years before people started offering to pay me like $5 here, $10 there. And now really to see how my life has become just my spiritual path is also my work, right? It's just so integrated together, and you're part of that, and that you are here watching and allow this moment to in some way infuse your life with greater hope or greater meaning or greater inspiration allows me to live my mission in the world. And my mission in the world is to affirm that the universe is wise and loving. The universe is wise and loving. I believe that. And I believe that that's what I'm meant to affirm and to share in the world. So you being here in this moment allows me to do that. And you being here, again, as I said, really means so much to me, really is everything. Thank you so much. So how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week with Venus meeting your ruling planet Mars in the sky, I mean, it really is going to feel in many ways very ideal, very beautiful, and very blissful as well. So even if other people around you are acting a little bit mysterious, right? Even if there are some talks happening around financial matters, which is possible right about now, it really is looking like luck is on your side. Hope and faith is very much working to your advantage as well. And some of the luckiest breaks that are going to take place this week are going to be based on goodwill, well established way in the past. So it's not so much about things that you're doing now, it's about what you've already done that will culminate in some ways into some good things happening for you, possibly financially, but certainly in the workplace. The workplace, in fact, I see as a place that is likely to be one where you're feeling the love, you're feeling supported, you're feeling encouraged, and you're feeling like the best of you is coming forward. You have like either whether it's a proverbial pat on the back, but it does look like in some way you are getting some kudos for a job well done. Where it comes to love this week, if you're open to meeting somebody new, that person literally could just walk into your workplace. That is going to be where all the romance really is happening. So literally could just walk, show up for you. You do want to be a little bit mindful though. There is that possibility for a small number of you that, you know, if that love, if that connection happens to take place in the workplace, might have you being a little bit nervous, might have you wondering if this is smart, or might have you just like saying something that ends up being a sort of a surprise in some way. So you may end up saying the thing, you might think that there's something else is happening, but it's really flirting happening, and say something and the person goes, you know, what is it that I need to do? So that is a possibility. For those of you who are getting to know somebody, you're just feeling the love. This person likely is going to in some way be incorporated into your life this week. So it isn't so much about, okay, date night, let's just keep it to the weekend, but rather, yeah, okay, pick me up after work, let's go do something. For those of you who are in an established bond and happy to be there, this is also about sort of establishing some routines, starting to put some things together and seeing how having this person there in the ins and outs of your life actually makes that love that much stronger. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we have got your ruling planet Venus being met by Mars, getting the super energized energy. Now this is happening in a very romantic part of the sky for you. And this is going to be especially fortunate for those of you who are open to meeting somebody new or just getting to know someone. So if you're open to meeting somebody new, your flirt is on. Your flirt is on high, for that matter. And those of you who are connected with someone already and feeling that you're starting to get to know this person more and more, this should be a nice week. This should be a week where you're feeling that much more motivated and that much more alive. The feelings of life are certainly on a high place, thanks to the feelings that love provides. And if you are already connected to somebody, if you've already are in an established bond, this is just fun, really. This is just about having fun together, maybe planning something a little bit romantic. Keep in mind, this week is also very fertile, okay? So if you want to have children, there's certainly that motivation there. There's certainly cosmic support to make that happen as well. In other news, though, we do have other really wonderful things taking place, and that's largely thanks to Mercury moving through your opposite sign. This is good all around, whether it's an established bond or partnership of any kind. So if it's a romantic partnership, this is about talking about things that inspire both of you. If you are in a business partnership, this can be a really nice time of dreaming up some great things to do together and really wishing on a much brighter star, knowing that you're moving in the right direction. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we have your ruling planet Mercury changing signs after an extended time in fellow air sign Libra, now moving into the sign of Scorpio, shifting your energy in some significant ways, mainly shifting your energy in the direction of work. And with Mercury speaking with Neptune, this is work and career and aspirations sort of coming together in a very important way, where you are coming to understand the importance of what you do and the motivation to what you do that much more differently. Now, I did speak about in the introduction this idea of putting love into the work that you do. There's going to be a conversation around that topic that takes place for you now, where you're looking at how you can bring a greater sense of inspiration, at the very least, a greater sense of inspiration to more of your moments, especially your daily moments, and especially where it comes to whether it's your clients or whether it's the work that you're doing or your coworkers. How is it that you can understand, and I do think some of you out there certainly are going to get a glimpse into how a lot of what you have done and what you are doing and the people who are around you, it isn't random, okay? There is some sort of a connection that's happening there that's helping you to grow and to learn some very important things about yourself. So this is going to be the universe helping you in that regard, helping you to grow and helping you to see the magic that is playing out in those very small moments and even in the work that you are doing. When it comes to matters of love, we've got this very romantic energy taking place, but really at the bottom of your chart. And that has to do with privacy. It has to do with what's happening with you deep within your own soul, in your own thoughts, and in your own space. It has to do with what's happening at home. So if you are in an established bond, this is going to be a time when you're just going to want to, hang out with your love at home. That really is where the love is going to be felt and magnified, just feeling like, okay, I just want this person to hold me for a little while. That is going to be sort of the dominant energy playing out. Those of you who are getting to know somebody, it is going to be that feeling like, okay, can I just be myself with this person? Can I relax? Can I not have to feel like I'm, putting up some sort of I'm trying, right? If you feel like you're trying, that might be a little bit of a signal to you that you're not yet that comfortable with this person, but that's going to be very much on your mind. Those of you open to meeting somebody new, it very well may be someone from the past who pops up right about now. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week, we have got such an active sky for you, so much activity really happening where it comes to talking, okay? all around. So whether it's talking about your life, talking with people that you trust, talking to siblings or cousins or neighbors, there's just a lot of conversations going on. And at the same time, there is also considerations around matters of heart. So let's talk about the talking that's happening first before we jump into love. And some of that is going to be based on just trying to understand more, okay? Trying to see your life from a more heartfelt perspective. But also, I see this particular energy as having to do with understanding love and life in a different way, thanks to some very spontaneous, out of the blue conversations that are very possible right about now, as I said, with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. Now, it could also be if you're open to meeting someone new, it could be that it is one of these people who ends up connecting you with somebody, or helping you to further understand someone you're getting to know, or helps you to understand a situation very close to the heart so that you can see it with more loving eyes. So if you're in an established bond trying to understand a situation, because love really is one of those supreme learning opportunities. So if you're in an established bond, you might need to talk some things out, maybe directly, maybe not, but to get that other perspective as well. There also can be an energy happening here that has to do with agreements, okay? So regardless of whether it's love related or not, just being able to come to an agreement. Also a really good time if you're trying to like secure some type of, make a deal that in some way sweetens your life, okay? This could be a really good time and a really good week to put your signature down. Now, with love, again, I do want to say there's a very talkative energy, very active energy taking place. If you are open to meeting somebody new, it really is the online world that is your best connection, is your best chance for making that connection. It really is going to start on a mind level. And if you're getting to know somebody, again, the mind level is where and how it is that that person is going to reach your heart. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we have got a very active sky and some really lucky energy taking place for you where it comes to matters of money, where it comes to matters of finances. And I think that there very likely is going to be some good news taking place where it comes to money. This could be an infusion of money finding you, or this could actually be you spending money on something that ultimately is, whether you want to call it smart, whether you want to call it a good bet or a better bet, all of that very possible to now, all of that very likely for you now as well. There's also an energy taking place around you understanding the value of what you're giving and getting a clarity into what it is that you want to do, what it is that you're doing to earn money, and sort of making peace with it all, right? Finding the joy within it all. So not all of us, right, end up aligning our sense of purpose and mission necessarily with how it is that we're making money. But all of us do have that opportunity to utilize however it is that whatever it is we're doing to make money, to utilize it in a way that makes us better people, makes us more caring, helps us to understand that it isn't always about what you're doing. It's about the spirit that you bring to what you're doing. So there is going to be at least that moment that helps you understand how, regardless of what it is, there is benefit and there is joy to be had in what it is that you go about doing to earn your money, and how it is also that you spend your money as well. I think that there's a possibility this week where you'll catch yourself thinking in certain ways and realizing that, okay, I'm thinking in certain ways that have to do with limitation. I don't think that's the way I want to go. And just that little observation really can make a huge change to your financial picture. In fact, there might be a very quick moment where you recognize making a little change in your beliefs can actually lead to much more prosperity than you've known before. And once you catch that glimpse, you can't help but trust it and follow through. When it comes to matters of heart this week, so much of the romantic energy is happening around self-worth. So if you're open to meeting somebody new or you're getting to know somebody, I think a lot of this energy really is going to be about you just feeling valued, right? Just feeling like appreciated or feeling a sense of affirmation. So just stay open to that and good things will come about regardless of where it goes or whatever it's meant to be, at least for this moment. Allow yourself to be affirmed for what you like about yourself, what's beautiful in you, what's valuable in you. And yes, we ultimately are responsible for believing that and accepting that and knowing that about ourselves, but sometimes it's nice to hear it as well, which is very possible now. Those of you who are in an established bond, I actually think that very conversation, that desire for greater support, is likely to come up in a very surprising moment, but ultimately will help you to understand how this person fits into your values and what it is, some of the higher lessons that you're actually learning in this established bond. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week, the party keeps happening in your sign. That's thanks to Mars and Venus hanging out together in your sign. So there's been a party, there continues to be a party. Jupiter in your sign also getting some energy from Uranus as well this week. To me, I look at this and this says that you are having a lot of faith, you're feeling a lot of hope, you're feeling a real sense of prosperity, a real sense of inspiration, a real sense of possibility for your life as well. So that's very good, right? That all is very good. And this opportunity for you to create greater prosperity for yourself is very likely to come very quickly at that. If you get a chance, right? If something comes up and it's like, okay, you can sort of resolve an issue, a financial issue, this is the week to take that, to jump on it. So if that even a glimmer of a chance comes up, I would say go with it. Where it comes to matters of the heart, it really is about you. You are attracting love and beauty, and a sense of charm that you're exuding is helping you, really helping you right now where it comes to romance. So if you want to meet somebody new, you've got a great chance to do that this week. Just be active, get out and about, do something, do anything. And that in itself will help you to move towards greater love and to make a genuine connection happen. If you're getting to know somebody, you should find yourself in a moment where they are especially being appreciative. And if you are in an established bond, I think that this time does represent a lot of romance for you. So let yourself accept the love on offer, because there certainly will be a lot of it taking place right about now. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we have got some wonderful energy building, starting to happen in a financial part of your sky, and this is largely thanks to Mercury leaving your sign. So you've had Mercury hanging out in your sign for the better part of 2 months, and while Mercury's been hanging out in your sign, you've got to think about what matters to you, what's important to you, and mainly who it is that you are, who you understand yourself to be on an intellectual level. So now you've had some reconsiderations, you figured out what matters, what's really important, and now it's about moving forward clearly and with a greater sense of strength as well. So we're moving forward, we're gung-ho forward, and Mercury changing signs is the greatest sign that you are now moving into new directions. And this is especially true where it comes to money, where it comes to finances. In fact, right about now, I think this week, there should be some really great financial ideas that find you, or at the very least, some hope for financial progress. So if you want a job, let's say, right? If you're one of those people who's open to having a new job or trying to create greater prosperity for yourself, there should be the right amount of connection, conversation, and inspiration to make progress happen for you. If you're somebody who's self-employed, then this is going to be a time of a lot of heightened creativity and heightened creative ideas as well. And if you're somebody who likes where you are, right? You think you like where you are, your job is good, you're feeling good about the prosperity that you experience, this energy will only help to magnify that, will only help you to feel like there's better coming up ahead and help you feel more at your creative best, help you feel more like you're entering into the flow where you know that the work is that much more meaningful to you as well. Where it comes to matters a little bit closer to heart, of course, very important for Libras out there, because you do have as your ruling planet Venus, goddess of love, and Venus is being met by Mars in the sky this week. And what that essentially means is that there is a very heartfelt but private understanding that is about to happen for you. Most of you who are in an established bond will experience this as a private moment with the person that you care about. Very likely some appreciation, some moment of awareness that's likely to take place. But especially for you, might not necessarily involve them directly. It has more to do with you coming to an understanding about why you love this person, why you're with them, how this relationship is evolving, is growing, is working, and just feeling a quiet sense of consistency and a quiet sense of support with this person. I gotta say, if you are in a relationship though, or you're just getting to know somebody, right, where there's been some mixed feelings, or you haven't been sure, you felt a little bit confused, pay attention to your dreams because your dreams are going to let you know very clearly what it is that's going on. A lot of times, in fact, some people would say all the time, our dreams are representative of what we believe and what's happening on a subconscious level. But the ancients, right, and actually not that long ago, up until the discovery of Uranus, really, it was widely practiced really around the world, and still is today in many ways, that our dreams are prophetic. Our dreams have the possibility of showing us which way things are going, and if it works for us or if it doesn't, if we're at peace with it or not, and to help us make that much clearer a choice. So dreams, pay attention to them. If you've been feeling any confusion where it comes to your romantic life, even if you are open to meeting somebody new or you haven't met somebody new in a while, this is going to be a very clear way of you understanding what has been, where you are, and especially where it is that you're going. And the value of that is deciding if you like where you're going. And if you like where you're going, awesome. Keep on walking that path. If not, you always have the power to change whatever it is in your life that is not working for you. You have the power to decide if the way that the symbols are playing out is working for what it is that you desire to create, and for aligning the symbols towards what it is that you desire to create, especially if it comes to greater love as well. So this works out for regardless of your relationship status. In other news, we do have you paying more attention to money matters right about now. There might be some financial negotiating taking place. And as I said, some real hope and real inspiration about to find you with the promise of greater abundance. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have Mercury entering your sign. Mercury will enter your sign. This will light your mind up. This will bring brainstorms and inspirations and ideas with a highlight on imagination. If there's anything that you do that involves needing a level of imaginative thinking, creative thinking, you've got lots of cosmic support to make that happen for you. If you are somebody who maybe doesn't really think about yourself that way or isn't really oriented that way, some of the ideas you have right about now might surprise you. And I think that this energy is going to be more directed in that way. So if you're not professionally doing something, or even personally for your own personal satisfaction, don't have a creative outlet, then I think that this energy is likely to manifest in you just feeling a more loving energy, you know, considering your life in different perspectives and considering the love that you have, and just feeling very infused with hope, especially where it comes to matters of heart. So it is that matters of heart that is emphasized here. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this can be a time when you are having those connections, right? You're talking again. There's a communicative aspect to this with Mercury in your sign. but also a lot of hope with this. So if you're, flirting, or you're hoping that someone's flirting with you, that might be the way that your imagination gets sparked and inspired. And that might be the way that you end up utilizing your imagination. If you're getting to know somebody as well, again, imaginative energy, right? Thinking what the future could be in the best possible sense. If you are already connected to somebody, I actually think that the fact that we have your modern ruling planet and your ancient ruling planet and, having awakenings, if you will, right? So your ancient ruling planet Mars being met by Venus, your modern ruling planet speaking with the sun. To me, this says, yes, an awakening of sorts, especially feeling love is with you, feeling love is here, especially where it comes to friendships. Your friendships certainly have a romantic bent to them right about now. But also, this has to do with if you are in an established bond, feeling a sense of understanding, feeling a sense of connection that, yes, is mind level, but also goes beyond that as well, and reaches to an intellectual understanding, an ability to communicate, an ability to be mutually understood that ends up feeling very supportive to you. As I said, there's a friendship-friendly aspect playing out. So if you want any good thing to come about in your life, right? If you're trying to create greater love, if you're trying to create greater prosperity, more money, more opportunity, especially where it comes to matters of abundance and financial opportunity, this is a really good time to connect with your friends to make that happen for yourself, whether they do it directly or indirectly. It is social situations and connections you make with others now that will open the doors for you to greater love and greater prosperity as well. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week, we have got your ruling planet Jupiter having a very interesting conversation with Uranus. Now, this is actually going to be part of an ongoing dance. This isn't going to be the only conversation they have. And so as such, this is going to be a time of some interesting awakenings taking place for you, especially when it comes to matters of career and direction and what you're trying to make happen. And it looks like there's an interesting tension happening for you where it comes to what you're achieving, what opportunities you're getting, and what it is that you believe will actually help you feel a sense of fulfillment, will actually help you feel like you are in a path towards self-actualizing, on a path towards feeling there's this saying of being well used for the things that you like within yourself. That will be the tension. Are you actually on that path or not? Are you actually achieving those things or not? For those of you who are, not necessarily thinking that way, are more practically oriented, this is going to be a time where really a very lucky break could happen. It'll happen very quickly. It might be that you don't really know where this is going. You're not really sure how you feel about this, but for all that, this can be a positive development, but you'll have to be very quick on your feet, and you really will have to trust your intuition. But if you are a person who is more sort of guided towards creativity, you're trying to utilize your creativity towards greater success, this will be a time that shows you if you're on that path or not. And if you are, then this can be a wonderful breakthrough moment. But if you're not, this can be a time when you are aware of that distance between creative fulfillment and accomplishment in the workplace and career. And that will help you, at the very least, to make some decisions going forward as to how it is you can continue to grow in the work that you do and also feel a sense of personal satisfaction. If you're not on the career track, you're not even thinking like that, then this is going to be more about utilizing your creative energy towards feeling more in alignment with a sense of life purpose. Where it comes to matters of a heart this week, a lot of that energy is actually being directed, if you will, towards those higher ambitions, those higher dreams. And so this tends to play out more strongly if you are in an established bond. If you are in an established bond, then it's much more likely that you will be feeling like, okay, yes, we're moving in the same direction. We're headed in the same place. This person is in alignment with where it is that I believe I'm meant to go in life. There will be that awareness. For some of you, though, there might be the awareness that that's not necessarily the case, but that doesn't mean you can't practice acceptance, and that higher sense of purpose or mission or, sense of self ultimately is more private, isn't necessarily about something that you're doing in an outward kind of way, but just understanding how this person fits into a bigger picture of your life. For those of you interested in meeting somebody new or just getting to know somebody, I actually think it's going to be Mercury moving into the sign just before yours that's going to be more dominant in this. And this to me does suggest that there's going to at the very least be some talks happening a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit quietly, a part of you that's going to want to try and figure out where you are in love and why. And so with people that you absolutely trust, that can happen. Be a little bit mindful, though. We do have that conversation between your ruling planet and Uranus. Uranus in a romantic part of the sky as well, if you're open to meeting somebody new. I would say with this energy, be careful about flirting with bosses. Be careful about, what you wish for even as well, where it comes to matters of heart. And let things take a more natural flow. If you strive instead to understand the motivations to your attractions and your interactions, you're very likely to come to a clearer understanding of what you want and are that much more likely to draw that to you instead of just letting the energy go where it may. Be a little bit conscious and you will find yourself attracting love that truly has a flow and feels that much more right. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week, we have got an active sky, a beautiful sky, Pluto in your sign, getting a burst of energy from the sun. I love this for you because it says to me clarity as to your own power and where it is that you can direct that to your advantage. So there's a sense of being very honest with yourself about what needs to change. There's a sense of understanding that if you take certain steps, good change can come about. And it is very possible now that a friend will be part of that process. So talk it out, reach out, have those conversations, have those connections, because ultimately they're going to show you where your power lies. And a lot of that power really is going to be about transforming just about anything you desire. It's that powerful a week. And it really is about zoning in, really getting clear about what it is and where your power move is, and then going in that direction. There's also going to be a time when some clarity comes about, some conversations reveal certain things for you, certain subtleties that maybe you hadn't been paying attention to before, weren't completely sure of before. And as you become that much more aware, are able to make positive things come about for yourself. Where it comes to matters of heart, it really is all about this meeting taking place between Venus and Mars. Now, this meeting is super passionate, super romantic, and it's happening in fellow Earth sign for you. This, to me, does suggest a strong sense of an inner core, if you will, a knowing, a conviction that there's love in the world for you. If you are open to meeting somebody new or just getting to know somebody, very likely there will be a connection with somebody that is different than what you have known before. In some way, either they have a different way of viewing the world, or they might be from a different background or culture or language even, but there is that sense of passion awakening thanks to somebody who maybe before you hadn't really considered, and now you're like, oh wow, okay, this is an option here. For those of you who are in an established bond, I'm actually seeing the two of you make some wonderful plans together for an adventure that involves, yes, some romance, but also involves learning something new or exploring a new place together. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have an interesting conversation playing out between your ruling planet, Uranus, and Jupiter. So I look at this conversation, yes, it's a more modern conversation, but I think that because your sign is more futuristic, if you will, than the other signs, you tend to pick up on these types of conversations, right, these more modern conversations that planets are set to have, than other signs might necessarily be. So we've got your ruling planet speaking with Jupiter, and I think that this is going to be some important insights into yourself and who you are and what you want, and where prosperity fits into that. So it's very likely now that a key conversation is going to have you looking at money differently, looking at prosperity differently, looking at how it is that you can go about actually creating greater prosperity for yourself in ways that feel true to you, that feel honest, and that have a certain sense of, there's a word that we say a lot in New Age circles that's authentic, right? Or authenticity. But really, I think for an Aquarian, that is so important. Now, what is authentic for you, or what represents authenticity, evolves, it changes, it grows. And so this is the next step of that growth. It's about you looking at it and accepting it and owning that you're changing. Owning that what you understand as prosperity is changing as well. Now, that doesn't need to be justified to anybody. It doesn't need to mean that money doesn't matter, or any of that. It might be all of a sudden that you realize, what I'm doing does have a lot of value in the world. So I think I should be asking the universe for more. I think I should be placing higher value of what I'm giving. For others out there, it might be saying to yourself, you know what? Yeah, money is awesome, money's great, but I want to do this, even though I don't know where it's going to go financially. And for others of you, there might just be a shift of priorities taking place right about now. But ultimately, it is an emotional place that you're coming from. So they say, money is an emotional issue. It represents energy. And so wherever you are in your relationship with finances, you're going to have that clarity right about now that helps you to clear the way to your understanding that will make you prosperous, whether it's just feeling more prosperous, but whatever your definition is leading you in that direction. And it's a very personal definition at that. And this can also be a time when you're making some financial agreements that you hadn't considered before, now coming together. And again, you might have to think very quickly. If there's certain things that you've been planning, now you see that something doesn't feel right, you're willing to own that. You're willing to make those changes as well. Where it comes to matters of heart this week, we do have, the romantic energy specifically for you this week. It's very consequential. It isn't light, right? An Aquarian, in one level, because you have that ability to detach. I think also that with Aquarians, they actually can care very deeply. This idea that they don't care, that they are detached, is not necessarily accurate. Yes, you have that ability to detach from your emotion, but that doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean that you aren't absolutely present in there where it comes to matters of heart. But this is a time when that ability to detach is not as easy necessarily. Sure, part of you might still be able to look at your situation, but this can represent a time of a change of circumstance that is likely motivated by or comes about by you getting a deeper perspective, a more substantial perspective into where you are in love and why. Whether that's within an established bond or it is with new situations that are now happening or that you're open to. All of this right now, there has to be a level of substance to what it is that is entering your life. And if it isn't substantive, if it isn't real, if you don't feel it very deeply into the core of you, if it isn't passionate, right, beyond just physical levels, but passionate where it's moving you to your soul, you're just not going to be interested. So it is about welcoming experiences that have a transformative quality. It's very possible to you now. So be mindful of what it is that you wish for, because it's very likely that some of that transformative energy, again, with someone new, with someone you're just getting to know, or even within an established bond, it really could go in many different directions. And the changes that come about ultimately will please you, but might actually surprise you and catch you a little bit off guard. But I think that's actually something you'll like. As an Aquarius, I think you know that life doesn't have nearly enough surprises in it. So I think the surprise is one that you will embrace and you will run with, you'll own it, and you'll roll with it. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we've got Mercury in fellow water sign Scorpio, speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune in your sign. I think your mind is one of your greatest assets right about now, and this is a great time to envision the possibilities. It's also a really great time to think about, I look at this part of the sky as putting those things into place or doing what you need to so that further down the road you can manifest bigger and better things. To me, I look at this and this says to me, if you want to have any kind of university applications that you maybe had put to the side, this is a time to think about the possibilities there. If there's a trip that you've wanted to take that you know could have a life-changing effect on you, this could be a time that you take yourself there. Ultimately, this is about connecting to inspiration and helping you to understand something that's playing out for you that is, that touches on miracles, that touches on magic, and having that appreciation on a mind level. This could also be a time when a conversation helps you to change your whole perspective. Now, if you are in an established bond, I actually think that it could be talking with the person that you love that helps you to change some of that perspective. But if you're in an established bond, you've got so much love energy taking place for you. So lots of love, luck, positive, passionate energy playing out for those in an established bond. If you are in a bond that is more professional, also luck and prosperity is evidence there. So trust the person that you're connected to and that you're working with. For those of you open to meeting somebody new, or just in the very early stages of getting to know somebody, I think a lot of it is going to be based on mind, a lot of it is going to be based on values, and talking about beliefs, right, in a broader perspective, and allowing yourself to consider these other ways of looking at the world as a way of ultimately opening your heart to what someone else could offer, and how someone else ultimately could present you with a new way of looking at the world that actually adds a measure of inspiration that ultimately seems to activate your imagination as well and envision how amazing this person might be for you. Now, that might be the case. However, right now, a lot of the energy is much more based on passion, okay, based on hope as well. And that's good. That can be a wonderful foundation, but know that as you move forward, there still is going to be more to learn. And know that and be aware that, especially if you're just getting to know somebody or just meeting somebody now, you might be filling in some gaps, but that actually could be a part of the fun of just enjoying yourself and enjoying your feelings and seeing where it all may lead. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.